So today we're going to be doing a pretty long discussion about my top 10 female protagonists via Switch games that I actually own that I want to talk about. And I have 10 Switch games that I actually picked out for this video, and each of them do have their own respective female protagonist. And I want to talk a little bit about each of them, what makes them great, and kind of do like a rating system of like the strongest female protagonist, in my honest opinion, to like the weakest one, uh, comparing just all these 10 different Switch games. I know there's a bit different than what I normally do on the channel. I usually do like top 10 weird Switch games, or top 10 good Switch games, or bad Switch games, or just typical stuff that what people do on YouTube. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about my top 10 female protagonists on the Switch. So I know I've said that many times. But yeah, without delay, I'm just gonna start off, alphabetical order, starting with the letter A, and that is Mutation him. If I said that correctly, forgive me if I didn't. Or Anne's mutation. So basically, or On, if you want to say that. I don't know how to say her name, so we'll just call her On. So On here is the main character of this game, obviously. It would be kind of funny if she wasn't, and if this random girl in the background was. But anyway, I've played this game. I've played it to completion. It's a lot of fun. It's like that cyberpunk world with a 2D to 3D experience, mixed between like old-fashioned like Super Nintendo pixels, as well as a 3D environment mixed together. It's really cool, very unique. This game has a re-release because the limited run version is quite expensive right now, but for Nintendo Switch and PS5, this will be re-released on PlayAsia soon. I don't know if it's available now, but I do believe it's up for pre-orders. So, and much cheaper than getting, the aftermarket one here. So I do plan on picking that one up just to see what's the difference between, the cartridges, if there's any difference at all. So, but anyway, On is a very cool character. I don't want to spoil anything about the game. I highly recommend playing this. So I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. On basically lives by herself, and she has like a mysterious past about her, something mysterious about her. And she has a pretty interesting family, which is really cool. It does get revealed later about her family. And technically it's like an orphan type of family thing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, she's a very cool collective character, very calm, very shy, kind of awkward, and she has like a special power about her that's from like another world. I can't really go into too much details about that, but there's a huge mystery behind her powers and where it's coming from, and it's almost essentially like an Incredible Hulk thing where she cannot control it sometimes, and then she does gain control of her powers, and hence the title, On's mutation, or Anna mutation him. So it's really cool. It's a really good story. I love this character. She's cool and collective. She's got a lot about herself and her past. The game eventually leads up to a point where you have to choose what to do moving forward in the game, which essentially gives you a choice between the good or the bad version of the ending of the game. So really interesting. It's at the very, very end. They give you two choices, and yeah, one leads to a bad ending and one leads to a good ending. So I ended up saving the game before that point and viewed both of them. So yeah, they were quite both were impactful, I will say that. But yeah, she's a simple character. Like I said, she lives by herself. She has character to her. She has that shyness to her, all while being very reserved and very very sure of herself at the same time, and being able to stand up, to adversaries, and being able to actually stand up, for those who are little, and helping even like her technically adopted sister, from time to time, which you have a choice to do. And so she's a very kind-hearted person, and very, very strong-willed. Even though, yeah, she comes off as like both introverted and slightly extroverted at the same time. So really cool character. I I love her to death. She's an awesome character. So, but yeah, I gotta say she's very up there. She's up there in like my top female protagonists of the Nintendo Switch. So we're gonna go ahead and set that to the side. We're gonna continue talking about each female protagonist from each game. I'm gonna try to keep it brief based off of my experiences with each game, and then kind of just do a tier list at the end of which ones I believe are better than the other and so on. Next up, we got another code, Reconnection. Recollection. Sorry, this is a custom slipcover made by Pascal, or AKA Curveline Studios on Etsy. So I will leave a link in the description for that, so you can check that out. These are really cool and high quality. But other than that, we're going to be talking about her. I honestly completely forgot her name because I haven't played this game that much. I've only played it for like a few hours, and then I kind of stopped for a while so I could play other backlogged games that I have been putting off for way longer than this game. But yeah, her name is Ashley Robbins. So technically this is a pack where it has the two games. There's the DS game that got remade, and then the never released Wii version of the sequel, which of course got released only on the Wii in a different country. So now you can play both games. However, you need to beat the first game in order to unlock the second game, which I don't like that, but either way, they're both on the cartridge, which is cool. So Ashley, she's an interesting character. I don't know too much about her except for like the few hours I played. So I am only going to be talking about what I know about her, and the tier list I'm going to go based off of face value, what I know about her so far. So I don't know everything about her, but all I know is that she doesn't know much about her dad. She doesn't know what's going on with her dad, and she just wants to meet up with her dad. And there's like a huge mystery behind him. And so she goes on, I think, with her aunt to an island where I guess this is just to find clues about her dad. So it's very heavily focused on the mystery behind who her dad is, where he is, and why he's been so absent in her life for so many years. And she's an interesting character. She's very soft-spoken, very goal-driven, and she just goes for it. She just doesn't waste time and immediately just says, well, we're just going to do this, you know what I mean? And just goes full force into what she has planned, and is very patient while also like impatient at the same time. It's a little weird. So it's like she can have patience, and then there are times where she's like, ugh, I just want to find my dad already, you know what I mean? Like, she's a teenager, so it's like understandable. But for a teenager, she's very calm and collective, and very, like she takes her time with everything, and there's really not much else I know about her. Like I said, she's a cool designed character, and I hope to get to know more about her as I continue to play the game. So anyway, we're gonna move along to the next protagonist here, and I actually can say a bit about this character. Obviously, Bayonetta. So this, of course, is being Bayonetta or Cereza and the Lost Demon. So the character herself, Cereza. So I've played all three of the Bayonetta games. I don't have them anymore. I kind of got rid of them because they're kind of mind-numbing and not really my kind of game. But Cereza and the Lost Demon has actually changed my mind on that, and I really like this game. So with Cereza herself, she's a very interesting character. Like when you actually play the regular Bayonetta games, she's very confident, like super overconfident in herself to the point where it's comical, and very comfortable with her sexuality, and just able to do anything she sets her mind to. Like she dove into hell in the second game to basically rescue a friend of hers that is also her enemy. Like they butt heads and fight, and she's like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go save her, you know what I mean? Like, she's a really cool character, and she'll go the extra mile to save anyone that she sets her mind to, and is capable of many great things. And this game in particular, where with her being a child, is night and day comparison to how she is as an adult. So there's like two different versions of her. So as she's younger, she's very closed in, shy, and scared of the world. And but she's also brave enough to go out with this Cheshire demon cat, to be able to find out like some mysteries and basically explore her powers and everything. It's quite interesting. I haven't beaten this game yet, so I don't know the full story about this one. But all in all, Syriza herself has a very strongly in-depth backstory, and she's just comes from a place of I want to say she comes from a place of, give me a sec, I'm gonna pause and try to think about this. Okay, so after pausing there for almost a minute, she's basically been mistreated all her life. I believe for being like partially like half a witch, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and have something else. Basically discriminated since she was like a tiny child. She's been discriminated all her life, and taking that discrimination and turning it around into absolute confidence in herself, in who she is as a person. She's very strong-willed, and like, yeah, she has that type A personality. And yeah, Syriza is very commendable as a character, and I love having a game like this where it shows how she was before gaining that full confidence. And I'm really loving it so far. It has a very similar style to Okami, and yeah, it's an overall good game. It's very weird. Half of the controller, I'll just bring out a controller here for example. I was playing Persona 5, but we're not going to talk about that. Basically, the left side of the controller with this thumbstick and D-pad, you can control Bayonetta with this side of the controller, and then this right-hand side with the face buttons and this, you control Cheshire. Same thing with, left side of this you control with Bayonetta, right side trigger buttons you can control Cheshire. So it's almost like a two-player game, all while being one player, all in one controller, controlling two different characters at the same time, solving different puzzles and everything. It's quite awesome. So yeah, there is Bayonetta. Alright, so next up we have, and that would be number 3 on the list there, so we have about 7 more to go through. I'm going to try to speed through these and not talk too much. Celeste. If you don't know about Celeste, it's a very, very hard game. Platforming type of thing. Another slipcover from Curveline Studios, so definitely check out the link in the description so you can buy yourself some. I highly recommend getting the high gloss one like this for your regular Switch games. If you got a steelbook case, I highly recommend do not pick the glossy one, and make sure to select unassembled so you can put it together yourself, because steelbooks are thicker. Anyway, besides that, Celeste, very, very good game, but like, man, is it hard. I have beaten the main story, but like the DLC I'm still struggling with. But either way, Madeline, that's her name. So she is canonically trans, and either way, I love the character Madeline. She has a very dark and deep story to her, and I have spoiled the true ending of the DLC for myself because the DLC was just that hard. I gave up on it for now, but I do plan on revisiting it someday. I might play it on the channel for the story someday. We'll see. But she's very misunderstood, and has gone through a lot in her life, and so she basically climbs this mountain to like get away from her, to get away from her problems, only for the mountain to actually help her face her fears and to face her problems and her inner demons. And it's just such a great game, because at first she comes off as like the scaredy cat who just wants to run away from her troubles and run away from her past, only for the game to force her the mountain to force her to face all these problems. And then eventually she says, you know what, I'm going to face this head on no matter what, to the very end, to the very bitter end, no matter how hard it is. And So she goes from like being this like kind of like this coward to this brave person who has changed dramatically at the end. And at the end of the day, like she came out triumphant and was able to face her past and her fears and realize it wasn't as bad as she was making it out to be. And in a lot of ways, that's very real to people in real life too. It's like, a lot of our fears and a lot of running away from our past is it's just more so that we fear that if we face such things that it would basically be worse than it would actually be. And a lot of times when we do face that past of ours and those fears of ours, it's not as bad as we made it out to be. So yeah, she's a great character. I love Madeline. So let's go and put that to the side. Next up, Cosmic Star Heroine. And I really love this game. Essentially, this is a turn-based battle type of game. It's kind of essentially like I want to say a mix between like a 007 game and I don't know how to explain it. It's between 007 and like a Jason Bourne type of game, and but it's its own thing. It's like the action-based type of style to it with explosions and guns and everything. It's kind of badass, and it's turn-based fighting. And I don't remember her name. I'm trying to look on the back here for the name. There we go, Alyssa. I'm not going to try to say the last name, but I think it's Alyssa El Saleh. Forgive me if I said that wrong. But Alyssa is a badass character. She just automatically just shows up, and the story just throws you in there. In the midst of her glory, in the midst of her being badass and this most amazing freaking like female agent, and having so much to her resume that like it's just mind-boggling, like how cool she is, and she's one of the top agents who can handle anything. And it's just one of those stories that it's like you're throwing in there with a badass character, and she is really cool. And they're like anything that they throw her at, like she's able to accomplish anything. So obviously she does have some weaknesses and does have a past. I'm still in the middle playing it myself right now. I haven't beaten it yet, so I don't know fully about her past. The game doesn't really explain too much a whole lot about her past. It's kind of like one of those 007 stories that just throws you in there and doesn't really explain too much about the main character's past and their weaknesses or anything. They're just like, nope, here's a badass character. They're just badass. They'll have some downtime and everything, but you're not going to know too much about where they came from, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. But as a whole, face value and everything I've experienced so far, she's a really cool character. Alright, next up, Crosscode. And we're going to talk about Lee here. I love this character, Lee. Another slipcover, custom, of course, by Curveline Studios. Link is in the description. And, Lee is an awesome character. There's like mystery behind her when you first start the game. She doesn't know a whole lot about herself. She, essentially this game is like an MMORPG, but minus the online interaction. It's its own story. Like you're playing a one-player, story-driven game here, in a fictional universe where you're playing in an MMORPG in this universe where these people you're playing with, they have their own lives outside of the game. You never really see outside of the game, but you hear about their lives outside of the game, and that's quite interesting. It almost gives it a sense of realism. And Lee here doesn't know who she is or where she's from. She's got like a form of amnesia and muteness to her, so she cannot speak. And there's a guide who helps her with her speech module, because apparently she, like any other player, she's supposed to be able to speak, but for some reason she can't because she can't remember anything. So the whole game is basically focused on her mystery and her past. She's a really cool character with like basically different types of emotions throughout the whole game. Like she probably has the most depth, in my opinion, of emotions and complex emotions in a character compared to the other games that I've mentioned so far. Like she's pretty much at the top right now in my list. I'm going to be honest right now. She's more than capable of doing anything she sets her mind to. Always willing to face, head on any challenges that come her way. And there's just a whole lot to her. But you just got to play the game. It's such a good story. I can't really say much else because it would spoil things. But yeah, this is another character. Kind of looks like her. It's a mystery. Play the game. Anyway. Next up, I can't really say this is a protagonist because it's not the main character, but you do play as this character. Eastward. Yeah, Eastward. So the main character is actually this guy. You're actually playing as him, but you also play as her as well. This girl right here. I forgot her name and I can't read it on the back. I do apologize. I don't remember her name. I did play this game to completion. I love Eastward. Another slipcover from you know who. I put the link in the description already. But yeah, I'll just keep it out so you can basically see her there. But yeah, I still consider her a protagonist because the game is focused on her mainly, and he feels like a secondary character, even though you do mostly play as him as the main character. But I still consider her a protagonist. She's a really cool character. What's cool about her is, like, even though she is a child, she's able to stand up to anything. It doesn't matter. It's almost like she's not afraid of anything. She's not afraid of bullies. She's not afraid of, enemies of any kind. Like, she stands up to bullies. She stands up for those who are being bullied. And there's just so much good about her. Like, she's very innocent. Like, she's a child. Like, so there's a lot about the world she just doesn't know about. And she's able to stand up to anything, and anything that would normally give someone fear or doubt. Like, she just doesn't have any of that. And she's like, nah, I want to go to this place. Even though people say, oh, you shouldn't go to this place because you'll die out there. And then she's like, oh, I went there. And it's like, I came back from there. I didn't die. You know what I mean? Like she's just one of those curious, cool characters who kind of gets herself into trouble. But she does it, like, innocently. And she's a great character. There's another one of those games, like, similar to Crosscode, where there's just a whole thing about her, this whole big mystery about her. The whole story is just focused on this character and where she came from, who she is and as a person and all that, because she doesn't have any memories of anything from the past. And so you find out more about her as you play the game, especially towards the end. This right here, of course, is the Japanese version of the cover. I like this alternative cover. It's really cool compared to the original cover that this is representing, but I still like having a slip cover. So, yeah, it's a really fun, worth playing game. It's another one of those games that I'm like, yep, you got to play it to find out what her mysteries are. But as a whole, like, she's a really, really cool and fun character. Honestly, playing this game kind of brought back my childhood of the times when I was, like, innocent, and just hanging out with friends and playing arcade games and such. So, which there is a game within this game, which is quite interesting. So I won't say much else, but y'all should definitely check it out. That's beautiful art right there. Anyway. Okay, so we have about 3 games left here. I'm just going to try to quickly go over this and try to finish up at the 30-minute mark. So, Metroid Dread. Another one with the slipcover from Pascal. It's got this steelbook there. But anyway, yeah, Metroid Dread. So I can literally bring up any Metroid game. This one in particular I wanted to bring up because of Samus. Technically, at the beginning of the game, you had all your powers. Excuse me, kind of burped there. She had all of her powers already, and suddenly the powers were just stripped away from her. And it's like that, what the game calls physical amnesia, to the point where all her previous experiences from previous Metroid games and all that kind of just go out the window, obviously, because you don't want to be too overpowered at the beginning of a Metroid game. But yeah, it's one of those things where she's kind of just secluded by herself. I love this game in particular because it's like that alien isolation type of environment where you're just kind of alone, and it's like a scary environment, and you run into an enemy that's like pretty much unkillable, for a good portion of the game until you have that satisfying moment where you're finally able to kill them, but it's still kind of tricky, you know. Samus is a very complex character. She's very cool. She's very collective. Mostly stays in her suit. It's not the Metroid games are not really hugely, story driven, but as a female bounty hunter, like space bounty hunter, she's a really cool character. She's able to stand up to anything and take down any foe, and yeah, that's all I got. But that's all I got to really say about Samus. There's really not a whole lot I know about her, and apparently Metroid Other M is not really canon. But I kind of want to play Metroid Other M. I know people say Metroid Other M is not a very good game, but for the first time, Samus actually has dialogue and a story. So, I don't know. I might play that on the channel someday. We'll see. But either way, I like Samus. She's a cool character. There's just not a whole lot to say about her. Second to the last game, Nier Automata. And, of course, obviously, we're going to talk about the main female protagonist, 2B. She's very cool. She's very stoic, because obviously she's an android. But what makes 2B cool though, even though she is an android and she tries to come off as devoid of like emotions, clearly the game will show you over and over again that it's completely wrong. That she actually does have emotions, but she tries to hide it, and actually truly does have love and care for her comrades, and she's just a really cool character. I haven't played this game to completion yet. I'm pretty far in, but I know enough to say that she's one of those stoic characters that tries to come off as like very cold and very collective, but she does have depth to her, and she does have like love in her heart for, like I said, for her comrades, and does have a sense of humanity within herself. So I really like 2B. Final game, River City Girls 1 and 2. I forget their names, but these two girls right here. So what's interesting about them is that I haven't played it that long, but all I know is that they're basically best friends, and one of them tries to come off as like really cool and collective and badass, while the other one's like just very girly and out there. But either way, they're both really fun characters. They're both badass. I mean, yeah, they're gamer girls, so it's like obviously the gap between the first and the second game, they go on a month vacation and just lie around in their apartment playing video games all day every day and eating junk food. I mean, yeah, they're teenagers, they don't care, but they're really cool. They're capable of doing many great things. Their boyfriends get kidnapped in the second game, so that's the main premise of that story, and they actually go out of their way to rescue their boyfriends. So it's like, it's not one of those things where they're like, oh, well, our boyfriends were dumb enough to get kidnapped, we'll get new boyfriends. No, they're like, fuck it, we care about them, let's get them back. You know what I mean? Like, they're really cool characters. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my my tier list of female protagonists here. So I'm going to pause it for a sec. All right, so I know this is going to go past the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to basically let's see here. I'll just show the weakest one to like the strongest one, if that makes sense. So the weakest at the very bottom of the list that I had to pick is I'm gonna forget names. I'm not gonna pull out the slipcover. Actually, I just remembered. Never mind. Ashley from Another Code Recollection. I only put her at the bottom of the list because I still haven't played the full game to completion yet, and I haven't played the sequel just yet. So my opinion on her will change in the future. I can guarantee it once I played both games to completion. But for now, it's still too soon. I don't know a whole lot about her. It's just surface level. She's a cool character and all. But yeah, she's at the bottom of the list. I have to do that because, yeah, I don't know too much about this character at the moment. So second to last, which is at number 9, Samus. For Metroid Dread. I know more about Samus as a character. I know she's not a character that's hugely story driven and all, but I still know more about this character than I know about the Ashley character, so I have to put her just right above Ashley, even though Samus as a character still resides in mystery. Metroid games have always been like that. Other than Metroid Other M, of course, which people say it's not canon, but I'm gonna consider Metroid Other M canon as far as that story, but in my own personal opinion. But either way, right above the other one, because obviously, but she's still at the bottom because it's not a whole lot you know about Samus. Either way, number 8. I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, number 8 is this character, which was Alyssa from Cosmic Star Heroine. I really like her. She's a cool character. She's badass. She's too badass for her own good, if that makes sense. And there's just not a whole. At least I haven't beaten the game yet, so I don't know too much. But as of right now, it's all surface level. It's all about her now and not focusing too much about her past. Like, I don't think they ever brought up her past except for, like, past achievements. That's basically it. She's that overachieving, like, amazing badass character, and that's it. She's cool, but, like, she's not higher in the list because of the fact that, like, there's not a whole lot about her in the past. So, but right above Samus, obviously, because at least there's character to her. Number 7, these two girls. I keep forgetting their name, and I'm recording with my phone right now, so I have no way of looking them up right now at the moment. But these two girls are right above Alyssa and the others, just because they're cool. I mean, like, yeah, like, they're typical teenagers that will sit around and eat snacks and, you know, also play video games, but when they gotta get shit done, they get shit done. I'm sorry for cursing here, but we're well in 30 minutes into this video, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah, they're fully capable of achieving great things, and, you know, they're all about equality when it comes to them and their boyfriends. They're like, oh, well, they got kidnapped, let's just rescue them. So really cool characters. I like them. I still haven't beaten those games yet. So number 6, Cereza, right above those two girls and the rest. Yeah, obviously Cereza is just an amazing character. She's a bit too much, though. She can be a bit too much in the regular Bayonetta games. That type A personality just, to me, is too much. But I've grown to appreciate her more based off of her past self in this game, her younger self. So she's more timid and is still willing to, you know, face her fears. This is like before she gained all that, you know, groundbreaking confidence and everything in the future games. But either way, she is at number 6. Number 5, 2B. So 2B is definitely number 5. She's got more depth to herself as a character, and like I said, very stoic, but able to obviously show that she does have human-like qualities and can be a very understanding character. All right, so we have 4 games left. So number 4, I picked An from Anu Mutation M. Only because she's a great character, even though she does come off as kind of slight introvert, but slightly extroverted. She's a really cool character overall. In my honest opinion, she's probably like one of my favorites out of all these, even though she's not at number 1, but she is definitely up there in one of my favorites. So number 3, Celeste, which I forgot her name again. I do apologize. That would be Madeline. Yep, Madeline. Madeline's just right above An, because both games do have, like, you know, characterizations, and what I'm trying to say is they both show off their emotions and who they are as people. An more closely has that backstory to her, which is nice. Celeste is more like, yeah, like her past will be brought up, but it's very vague. But the reason why I had to put her above An is because Madeline just shows such growth throughout the game. Like, she starts off as this coward who's scared of everything, who is unsure of doing anything, and by the end of the game, like, she's just this badass who's capable of doing anything and nothing bothers her anymore. But you get to see that journey and how she gets there. So she's just has that strong growth and improvement in herself. and that's why she is at number 3. Number 2, obviously, the girl in this game. I keep forgetting her name, and I do apologize. But, yeah, this girl in Eastward. I had to put her at number 2 just because, like, she's very strong and capable for her young age. She's the youngest one out of all these that I'm talking about at the moment. And, yeah, I don't know, just a bit of nostalgia in this game brings me back to a time when I was younger, too, and innocent, and, you know, played video games and hung out with friends. And, but she's definitely a much better child than I used to be. So anyway, but yeah, she is a number 2. And of course, at number 1, I have to give it to Lee from Crosscode. Lee is just such a phenomenal character. Very, very strong and strong-willed and capable of doing anything. And, you know, she shows, like, great, strong emotions even when she's weak to a certain, you know, adversary that she's not able to beat, but yet she's able to talk to people. I say quote unquote talk with the limited speech modules that she has, that they do eventually like improve her speech throughout the game, but it's never like 100%. I would like to see a DLC come out for this game to show her fully speaking again someday in the future, which is cool. Because it does have a DLC, which is honestly a great way to end the story. But I would love to see an additional DLC that wraps things up fully and completely to the point where she's able to speak, like, full sentences. So, but yeah, no, she's a great character. Overall, like, best story of a female protagonist, in my honest opinion, out of all these games. So let me know what you guys think in the description. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this video and, you know, my opinions on this. These are all my opinions. They are subject to change in the future with, you know, future games I play, such as, of course, Ashley down here. Once I actually play this game to completion, then yeah, like, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be one of those, like, she's going to go up higher probably. I don't know how high in the list, but we'll see. But either way, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. You know, which Nintendo Switch game have you played that has a strong female protagonist or female protagonist that you love, that you can't get enough of, you know? And I'm not talking in the degenerate side of things, which I'm not going to go that route. But in the side of, this is a cool character. I love this character, like, as they are. They're really cool. And they're very strong-willed, strong-able. There's something about them I really like. So, yeah. Those were my top 10 female protagonists on the Nintendo Switch. I know there are a lot more out there, but I had to pick these 10 in particular. So, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. If you made it this far in the video, like, up to this point right now, go ahead and leave like some sort of like video game controller emoji and a girl emoji of any kind, representing gamer girls out there. So, and my wife being one of them, of course. She's a gamer girl as well. Plays on her tablet, doesn't play her Switch, but at least she plays, you know, some games. But yeah, just go ahead and leave a video game controller emoji and a girl emoji. Both of those emojis in one comment. I'll heart your comment. It lets me know you watched up until this point. So, yeah, we're about to reach a 40-minute mark here. So thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. And link is in the description below if you want to join our Discord. Our Discord is a quiet, small community. So please, don't be that person who ruins it for everybody. Please read the rules and regulations and be courteous and don't spam. And, you know, be a welcome member of the community. And you must be 18 years of age or older to join. You can follow me on Twitter or Twix and other social medias down below in the description. And you can also check out my playlists on other videos where I talk about things. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome one. Be safe. Be excellent to each other. And I look forward to making more videos for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you like these videos. All right, guys. Bye-bye.